Before Edison took the spotlight, Granville T. Woods powered the trains. In the late 19th century, an age of smoke, steel, and rapid expansion, Woods emerged as one of the most brilliant electrical inventors America has ever known. Born to parents recently freed from enslavement, he found his calling not in classrooms, but in the clang of machinery and the hum of early electrical systems. He learned by watching the world move, by studying how machines breathed, and how power flowed through wires. Even as a child, he sensed that electricity was more than sparks and heat. It was the future waiting to be shaped. At a time when railroads controlled the pace of the nation, Woods imagined a safer, more connected future, one where signals traveled through wires faster than any man could run. His inventions saved lives, modernized transit, and cemented the electrical age. Yet his contributions were constantly overshadowed by those with more power, more money, or more fame. Still, Woods pressed forward, convinced that the world could be made safer if he kept pushing against the limits of what technology could do. Granville T. Woods was born in Columbus, Ohio, in 1856. From a young age, he was drawn to mechanical systems, watching locomotives thunder past, fascinated by the pistons, pressure, and controlled violence of steam. Those engines were his first teachers, their endless rhythm revealing a quiet logic he longed to understand. Denied formal opportunities, he became his own instructor, reading whatever scraps of technical manuals he could get his hands on. By 14, he apprenticed in a machine shop, mastering metalwork and discovering the rules of electricity long before most Americans understood its potential. He asked questions constantly, often pushing beyond what his supervisors expected from anyone his age, let alone a young black apprentice in a deeply segregated nation. What makes Woods extraordinary is not just brilliance, it's resilience. In an era defined by barriers and restricted opportunity, he carved a path into the technical world through talent so undeniable it could not be ignored. He understood that electricity would become the next great frontier, and he intended to shape it. Every spark, every connection, every blueprint he studied pulled him one step closer to the breakthroughs that would define his life. Railroads in the 1870s were chaotic. Trains communicated with handwritten notes, shouted remarks, and timed schedules that frequently failed. Collisions were common, and one mistake could cost dozens of lives. Woods saw a system built on danger, and danger meant opportunity for innovation. As he traveled the country working as a railroad engineer and telegraph operator, he witnessed firsthand the fragility of the system. He learned how rails bent under pressure, how telegraph lines snapped in winter storms, and how conductors often guessed more than they knew. Trains needed better communication. Conductors needed faster warnings. The future demanded something more reliable than paper, whistles, and hope. It was on these tracks, amid smoke, noise, and constant motion, that Woods developed the idea that would change American rail travel forever. He watched trains disappear into fog or darkness, knowing that somewhere beyond the horizon, another engine might be rushing forward blindly. The problem haunted him. The solution would define him. In 1887, Woods patented his greatest contribution, the Induction Telegraph system, an innovation so advanced that major rail companies called it a miracle of safety. The device allowed moving trains to communicate with each other and with stations wirelessly. Using electromagnetic induction, messages could travel through the air, bypassing the fragile limitations of telegraph wires. Woods had essentially created a form of early wireless communication decades before radio became mainstream. Before Woods, trains were blind to each other. After Woods, they could send warnings, status updates, and critical signals in real time. This invention prevented crashes, increased efficiency, and modernized the entire industry. The press called him the Black Edison. But the truth is more powerful. Woods wasn't imitating Edison. He was surpassing him. His device was elegant, reliable, and years ahead of what other engineers imagined possible. For Woods, invention was not a pursuit of recognition. It was a pursuit of safety, precision, and progress. Wood's telegraph was so revolutionary that Thomas Edison tried to claim it as his own. Edison's lawyers challenged Wood's patent, insisting the technology belonged to their company. But Woods fought back, armed with meticulous notes and an unwavering belief in his own work. In a rare victory for a black inventor in the 1880s, he won twice. The rulings confirmed that the brilliance belonged unmistakably to him. The humiliation forced Edison into an extraordinary move. He tried to hire Woods, but Woods declined, choosing independence over prestige. It was a moment of quiet rebellion, a reminder that talent cannot be bought when rooted in conviction. Edison had the spotlight. Woods had the brilliance. Yet, even after the legal victories, Woods continued to struggle for the recognition and financial stability his inventions deserved. He refused to surrender the credit he had earned, knowing his ideas were reshaping the world. The telegraph was only the beginning. Woods invented improved telephone transmitters, automatic brake systems, and devices that enhanced electrical efficiency across factories and transportation networks. His mind never rested. Each problem sparked 100 possible solutions. His 1889 synchronous multiplex railway telegraph let multiple messages move simultaneously, a concept decades ahead of its time. Engineers who examined his designs were stunned by how cleverly he solved problems that had frustrated entire teams. Each invention carried the same signature: functional, elegant, transformative. He saw electricity as a language, and he rewrote it to make America safer, faster, more connected. In every spark and every circuit, Woods saw not complexity, but possibility. His work proved that innovation did not require wealth or formal education, only relentless curiosity and the refusal to stop asking what if. In 1901, Woods patented the Metropolitan railway brake, a critical safety system that allowed smoother, more coordinated braking across urban rail lines. One great away. Before his innovation, braking was noisy, jerky, inconsistent, and hazardous on crowded city routes. Woods' system brought control and precision, turning chaotic stops into coordinated maneuvers. Every city with a growing transit system wanted his technology. Woods became a name quietly embedded into the bones of urban transportation. He wasn't just wiring America. He was making industrial life survivable. He understood urban growth was accelerating, and cities needed systems that kept pace with the millions who rode their streetcars and trains each day. His inventions didn't simply improve machines. They protected the people who depended on them. The shift from steam to electric transit in the late 19th century created new technical challenges. Woods met them with a suite of inventions: current controllers, power distribution systems, and improved motor designs that made electric railways dependable. His electrical control devices became foundational, invisible but essential. They allowed trains and trolleys to accelerate smoothly and brake safely, turning chaotic systems into coordinated networks. It's difficult today to imagine public transportation without these principles. That's because Woods' work became so widespread it is almost invisible, part of the everyday pulse of a city. He didn't chase fame, he chased solutions. And in doing so, he helped usher in the electric age. Every hum of current flowing through a transit line carried a whisper of his early innovations. Woods founded the Woods Electric Company, a rare black-owned firm in an era when segregation limited black entrepreneurship. His workshop produced prototypes, improved transit systems, and devices that major corporations desperately needed. Railroad companies sent engineers to learn from him, studying the methods he had crafted through years of disciplined experimentation. Though often underfunded and targeted by imitators, Woods persisted. For him, invention was not a performance or a hobby. It was a necessity, a way to give America the tools it didn't yet realize it needed. His workspace was a blend of chaos and brilliance, wires, coils, sketches, half-built machines, and the constant sound of testing. In that environment, Woods felt free, unrestrained by the limitations society tried to place on him. Woods secured over 60 patents, many of which still influence modern electrical engineering. Yet fame did not follow. His name rarely appeared in newspapers without comparison to Edison. Investors hesitated. Racial barriers remained nearly unbreakable. But engineers knew. Railway operators knew. Inventors knew. Woods occupied a quiet, uncelebrated space, the mind behind the machines. He was not the face of industrial America. He was the pulse. His ideas formed the hidden framework of safer railroads, clearer signals, and more dependable electrical systems. Though he often worked in the shadows, the world around him moved more safely because of his vision. Granville Woods died in 1910, at only 54 years old. He left behind no fortune, no grand estate, no glowing spotlight. What he left were inventions woven so deeply into American infrastructure that removing them would collapse entire systems. Rail communication, electric transit, braking systems, telephone circuits, whole pillars of industry bear his fingerprints. His passing received little attention, yet his influence remained everywhere, humming quietly beneath the nation's progress. Engineers continued to study his designs long after his death, recognizing the depth of mastery captured in each patent. Though time moved forward, his innovations remained embedded in the machinery of a growing country. Today, every moving train that shares information, every electric streetcar that glides through a city, and every rail system coordinated by synchronized signals owes something to Woods. He helped wire the country, not with glory, but with brilliance. Granville T. Woods remains one of the great architects of modern electrical engineering, a visionary whose contributions were as foundational as they were overlooked. His work shaped a future he would never fully see, building the backbone of safety and communication that modern transit relies upon. Through his persistence, he expanded what was possible for black inventors and engineers, leaving a legacy of courage as well as innovation. Granville T. Woods didn't need the spotlight. He built the systems that made the spotlight possible. The wiring, the signals, the very flow of electricity that powered a nation becoming modern. His legacy is not a moment. It's the movement of trains, the hum of power lines, and the quiet precision of every electrical system we rely on today. His story endures as a reminder that some of the most important architects of progress are those whose names rest not on billboards, but in blueprints. This is the story of the man who helped wire America